No, it's all
So it's always did, but. Yeah.
It's the USB audio device, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it's because right now it says webcam.
right.
Good evening, everybody. Meeting to order. My apologies. We did the pledge to the flag, but the audio was muted. I'm asking the town clerk to do the roll call, please.
Councilwoman Anowen,
Here?
Councilwoman Hogan DePew, absent. Councilman.
Here.
Councilman Paddock,
Here.
Supervisor Beaton.
Here. Okay. First, we have a number of resolutions to do, and I thank the board for doing this special meeting. These were timely resolutions, needed more information from our last meeting, and I didn't wait till next week to get some of these in process. So the first is authorizing the supervisor to initiate a contract for telephone service. The town board authorizes the town supervisor to enter into a contract with Crosspoint Connect Incorporated, 9 Marlins Way, Woodstock, New York, for ESI digital telephone and voicemail at the Harold Lipton Community Center for the period of September 15, 2021 through September 15, 2022 at a yearly contract price of $400. And you all have in your packet the contract agreement. I have that resolution. Yeah, sorry. Do I have a second? And so this is the same contract that we currently have for the town hall. Although they've lowered the price because there'll be less phones here. There'll be 7 phones here in comparison to what's over at the town hall. This would allow us to have the same phone and voicemail system that we have over at town hall, which works really well. We had it here at one time. Former employees didn't like it. They went back to the system. Current employees have asked for a better voicemail system, and this works really well. Kate and I can probably attest to how often, and you can transfer calls between departments. There'll be 3 phone lines, one for code enforcement, one for planning and zoning, one for recreation. And it will only ring if their line rings, but they can transfer to another line. If it's a call, if say it's code enforcement and it needs to go to planning and zoning, they can just transfer it over. The only downside is if somebody is on the line and you call, it doesn't automatically roll over. It gets a busy signal, but people can call at any time, leave a voicemail message. They're retrievable from outside. The only downside to the system is it doesn't do an auto rollover, but we don't have that at town hall either. We could investigate that some other time, but for $400 a year, it's a pretty decent price.
Mike, that's 400 a year. The tally here says total per MO. I thought that would be month. No, I was worried about a $28 a month for telephones rental. Is that correct?
That's not a rental for the town, that's the total per month. Yeah, okay, so that's total per month, but the contract price down at the bottom is the year.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
It's a badly written document.
Gotcha. I understand now.
It's a monthly up top. And if you
Multiply it by
multiply
the
that out, that creates the
by
528.
12.
They give us a discount every year. They give us a discount. So it's a $400. The bottom is in the contract is for the year.
Okay,
So
sounds good.
yeah, that's just the breakdown per month up top.
Okay.
So, but thank you for that question. Any other questions, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain. Okay. Next is related, although the price may be lower than what was is in this resolution. The town board authorized the town supervisor to enter into a contract. This isn't actually a contract. This is just for the install, for the installation to enter into, I guess it would say agreement, not a contract.
I'd like to accept the estimate.
Okay, the other town supervisor to accept the estimate from Crosspoint Connect Incorporated, 9 Marlins Way, Woodstock, New York, for ESI digital telephone and voicemail installation at an estimated price of $925.
I want to say not to exceed 900.
Let's say not to exceed 925. I like that better. I'll make that resolution since we totally changed it.
I'll second.
Thank you. For discussion, they're going to charge us a flat rate of $250 to move whichever jacks have to be moved. Some of the offices have been reconfigured. Since the time of their install, we did the renovations here. We're going to add a phone here in this room for their availability as well. They priced 3 phones. We actually found that we still have 5 of the existing. That was the original one over here. So they will only have to give us 2. She also emailed me yesterday and said one of their other clients just bought brand new phones that they are trying to sell the used ones. And they're willing to give them, sell them to us for $100 each. If we wanted to go that route, if not, I'll buy the 3 brand new ones. I'd like to maybe buy 1, so we have 1 spare for both buildings. So we have 5, we need 7, but I'd still like to go ahead and buy the 3 either way. I just want a little feedback on, she said the used ones, they will offer a 1-year warranty on them. They're essentially, they're this exact phone, they just were used by somebody else and they're going to a different model.
I like used.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna ask her then to just give us 3 used, and if we find out there's a problem with them, she did offer a 1-year warranty
yeah,
on
and we can
them.
always buy a new one.
We
We
can
can't
always
always
buy a
buy
new
a used one.
Yeah,
So-
so, and it only was just happenstance that they became available, but she said, I wanted to offer them to you since I knew you were buying phones, so.
Cool.
Why don't we amend the motion then to, that we change the estimate to purchase 3 used ESI 30D backlit display speakerphones instead of new.
And instead of 620/75, it'll be 300.
300.
Yeah.
So
So
knock it
it'll be a
down to
total of
$5.
$550.
Nice. There you go.
So we'll say not to exceed $550.
That case.
Yes.
I'll amend the motion. Are
I
you
accept
okay with
that.
this? Amending the second? Okay. Thank you, Kate.
Yeah.
Any more questions? All in favor?
I
Opposed? Abstain. Okay,
Let's get some phones.
yeah, and it's a much better system. Next, this is authorizing the supervisor to initiate a contract for playground equipment installation. There's 2 quotes. So I'll read the resolution, leaving the name and the price out, and then we will, there's a section that we need to take out too. The town board authorizes the town supervisor to enter into a contract with, to be determined, a certified installer of play and park playground equipment in the amount of, for installation and take out the 100 for leveling and excavation if necessary. This project shall utilize the American Rescue Plan for reimbursement for town park playground equipment installation. This is to be classified as a public health expenditure, EC1, for recreational purposes. Then only 2 quotes were achievable from certified installers of play and park playground equipment, as these were the only companies available for scheduling to install in a timely manner. The 2 quotes are from Champion Recreation Services. They quoted a price of $27,700. That is with the prevailing wage differential included in it. They also quoted $3,500 additional if leveling and excavation is necessary. I don't anticipate it will be because we're going to remove the old stuff and Jeff's crew will level. The second quote is from Kando Playground Improvements. They quoted $30,000 with prevailing wage differential. They quoted 3,700 additional for the leveling and excavation. They also quoted 5,500 if removal was necessary, but it will not be. So
And
now,
the one-
normally, we would ask for 3 quotes at this amount of money. Did send you the email from Mr. Prosante, who's got me these 2 quotes. He is the representative of Play and Park. These companies are certified installers of their equipment. He says they're both certified, where he confirms these are the only 2 that could fit this into the schedule to do it this fall. And he did make the recommendation that Champ is the better installer. So our procurement policy requires 3 quotes, but it also gives us exceptions if none efforts have been made and none can be obtained. So with that, I guess,
have a question.
yep,
So you say this is with prevailing wage.
yep.
Then down on the bottom, it says prevailing wage at 1800.
That was the original quote that they sent, but they added in
So
the,
that's added from the 27.
yes, so the original quote was the 26,500, and then the information in the bold part. Which one are you looking at? Champion?
Candor.
Candor.
Okay. Right, so they're 28,200, prevailing wage adds 1,800, which I've done, and that's why I've said 30,000.
Okay, all right.
Now, the other one, it does say in there, I think, no, they did remove the proposal, prevailing wage adds 1,200. They were 25, prevailing wage adds 12, which makes the 27,700.
Okay, thank you.
Because the original quote did not have prevailing wage differential, and so I went back and asked him for those. So I would ask then that motion that we contract with Champion Recreation Services in the amount of $27,700 for installation and $3,500 for leveling and excavation if necessary. So,
We need a motion.
well, we already had a
Okay.
motion and
Mike,
now we're accepting these, that.
So you need a second.
okay, I'll second.
I just had one thing.
Me too.
Sounds like the Champion is in Indiana.
Is that what IN is?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, yeah.
So they service New York, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
but they wouldn't be.
the playground, the company we purchased from, my guess is they're a national company and they probably have depots all over. He said, the Mr. Prosante is based out of Islip, New York.
Right,
And he said these are the vendors that they use. So
Okay.
I'm guessing they're not coming from Indiana is my guess. My
Right.
guess is that's where the parent company address is.
yeah, but they would have satellite.
yes.
Okay, great. I just
And
wanted to
both of
confirm that.
these could install in 2 to 4 weeks from signature of contract.
Okay.
Alright.
So. Did you have another question or was?
I
that-
just want to know where Indiana, so
Yeah,
same thing.
I remember you saying that many of you were talking to, for the equipment itself, like Kentucky and.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there's so few vendors, then there might be a lot of vendors, but they're all doing the exact same.
I will say for the public, the town had anticipated in installing this ourselves till we got the 100-page installation manual, and it is significantly more complicated than was ever estimated.
This is not an IKEA. playground.
No, this is not an IKEA playground stuff. And it will take them a week to install, he said. It's not something you can put up in a
Right.
day or two, so. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's great. I will let him know. We'll get that scheduled. Next, asking for an authorization to refund fees. Upon request of the planning board, the town board authorized the town supervisor to refund $200 paid to the town of Rochester on August 12th, 2021 for fees associated with site plan application 2021-04 SPA to Michael Brown, doing business as 845 Vibrations, 15 Cardinal Road, Accord, New York, 12404. The application was withdrawn as the property sold to another buyer. Mr. Brown withdrew his application for the planning board. Very minimal work was done on this application, which included advisement about forms he would need to fill out, which were attached to an email. So I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any questions? They didn't even review it at a meeting. He had made an offer on the property. The property owner allowed him to approach the planning board to initiate the process, and then it sold to another person. So he no longer is interested in pursuing his application because he doesn't have the property.
Seems fair.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. Okay. Next, and I forgot to bring the paperwork with me for this, but Kate can speak to it. The town board authorized the town supervisor to extend the contract with Williamson Law Book 790 Canning Parkway, Victor, New York, 12564 for software support for town clerk operational software in the amount of $704 for the period of 10/1/2021 through 9/30/2022. Motion.
I'll make that motion.
And second. This is, this was budgeted for, it's just to sign the contract. I need your approval. If Kate, if you have any questions, I'm sure Kate can talk about what Williamson Law Software does, but it seems, it's been around for, that company's been around for
Williamson is the
125
legal-
years or something like that.
Yeah.
It's the financial software that Kate uses, and I don't know what else is part of
Yeah,
that
we use it
package.
for our financial software, our marriage licenses, our handicap applications, our dog licenses, it's all of our DC.
It runs her office.
Yeah.
Seems like it's an important one.
And it's it is the exact price as it was last year. However, they did send me a notice for 2022 that next October it will go up by 10%. But they gave it, you can tell they're a municipal company. They warned everybody now
year in
that
advance.
next
They can
year
budget
they
for
can
next
budget for the additional money. I
Smart.
just got the notice yesterday, so.
And the great thing with this program too is all our information gets backed up into an iCloud on a separate server up in Victor. So that's always good to have too.
And it's doubly backed up because it's now being backed up on our server as well,
It's
so,
everywhere.
yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. Okay. Real quick, before we move into discussion, I just wanted to call to your attention a letter that was received about traffic on Lower Whitfield Road, specifically near Arrowwood. There is an event happening there this weekend. I have spoken with constables, and I had already asked them to deploy with the monster truck show to assist with traffic control there. Being that it's happening at the same time, they're going to try to get one of the other constables as well and have both vehicles covering both areas. So we will be addressing this. I just wanted to make sure the board was aware that that's happening. And as we know of events happening, we bring them in rather than scheduling them every weekend. But if we know there's events happening where there could be traffic control issues or other issues, we go ahead and schedule them.
I would also like to, after this event, I think it would be maybe great to speak with the constables about what their experience was, and maybe if we, this letter makes it sound like we need more
I will-
resources.
Yeah, I'll say this, that I was at probably the biggest show that Arrowwood does for the year.
They've ever had.
The biggest one they ever had, and I came to
Jackson
the,
Brown was probably bigger, but
I don't know. But
that one didn't have a maximum
This-
number.
But the as far as traffic went, I could have came up the back way, which would have been up airport and around that way. I came up the regular way up Medicahonks, and once we turned on to I forget the name of the road that Arrowwood is on. There's a lower. Oh, it is Lower Whitfield, even that little part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably halfway between Medicahonks and Arrowwood, the traffic came to a stop. But there was still access. Cars could exit and enter in the other lane, even though it's a narrow part of the road. But more importantly than the traffic, which I didn't find to be bad at all, and especially since the time I was there, I was the person that signed off on the planning board for Arrowwood. I was also the person that denied them because Mike wasn't here as the planning board chair that day. The one time I had to sign off on not having events there because they were not prepared. Weren't put together. The event that they put on the other day is the gold standard of what we should be looking to as a community,
Absolutely.
from parking to lighting to food distribution to toilets to noise to security to everything that they did up there. From somebody who looked at it from a planning board standpoint and a execution, it was brilliant. They really did a nice job.
Well,
I think that was the best planned parking and of anything I've ever been to.
Yeah,
So
Well,
I came from the other direction.
we have
And it was
received
nothing.
neighbor complaints about the sound
Mhm.
and the distance that it's traveling. Some people that
Okay.
are on Mill Hook Road Extension, which is
Right.
considerably far away. I've spoken with code enforcement office. They're reviewing the decision by the planning board because the special events came back for another
Right.
application
Right.
after that. So they're reviewing that decision to see how it was exactly worded. I know there was sound testing done during the
Yeah.
review, and they are supposed to self-monitor. So I've asked code enforcement to review that decision, and they're reviewing to see what they can ask for, because we have been getting, I won't say significant, but a number of complaints. And this event is a 2-day, all day long weekend event,
Right.
which in theory should classify as 2 events, and I think it probably does.
Yeah.
But, so I just wanted to, because it was so timely and with the weekend, I wanted to just say to the board,
Mhm.
here's the letter.
Yeah, especially with the other event going
yeah.
on.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
curious to
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna drive around there.
I think we may
See
need
what
to
it's
have a
like.
dialogue with them about how we can do a little bit better. I think they're doing a good job, but I think we all can do better, both
Mhm.
them and us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
can't speak to the noise, but
I
on the
can't either.
traffic, the event was scheduled to end at 10. It ended earlier,
yeah.
but after 9:30.
right,
I was in my kitchen in Kingston at 10:10.
Right.
So that shows you how good it was to get out of that parking lot
Yeah.
and down the road.
Yeah.
I was amazed.
Very efficient, very well, plenty of staff. But again, as far as the noise, again, I wouldn't be able to speak to that.
Yeah.
Although I did speak to a neighbor who lives on Mill Dam Road, and he said if he opened his slider, he could hear it, although he could feel the bass through the house.
and that's what it is. It's the base, and the one person said to me that it's even the announcements are so they're so understandable that she said, I know every act that's coming on next because of the announcements. So
Yeah.
it's
Very
carrying
good.
that far, and from Arrowwood to Mill Hook Road Extension.
Yeah.
It's gotta be at least half a mile, if not closer to,
Yeah.
in a straight line, probably half a mile.
It will be interesting to know what things are at property lines, because that's what matters. And I say that from the perspective of, when I lived in Cohasset, I couldn't hear the Ackworth Speedway. When I lived in Rosendale, I could hear the Ackworth.
Well,
Speedway.
everything is changes on wind
Right,
and
so-
temperature, and it
so it's
sounds
very
silly,
difficult.
but humidity, temperature,
yeah.
all that
Very
changes
difficult
how
to-
sound carries.
Yep.
To
So,
figure out where it's gonna land.
yeah.
I live off airport and I could hear it. I actually thought it was my neighbor blasting music until I processed
Oh,
it because I
wow.
could hear it.
Yeah.
So,
Did you like the music?
I didn't mind. It doesn't bother me. I mean, I live right by the racetrack. so it doesn't-
Okay, I just wanted to address it.
I like your idea,
So,
Aaron, though, about
yeah, I like that
those.
idea too, and we'll speak with the constables after this event and see. Also, Mr. Palmer from the Speedway called me today, and I spoke with Jeff. Jeff is gonna put up, and he confirmed he's allowed to do this under town highway law, put up some temporary no parking signs along the boundary of the neighbor's properties
great.
and his and Mr. Palmer's property. Because if people can't find a spot, then they may start trying to
Yeah.
park along the roadway. And so to be proactive, we're gonna mark them temporarily for the weekend as no parking zones. And Jeff Jeff confirmed that he has that
Yeah, he can do
authority,
that.
or is it
We
temporary?
can do that, just like you see them.
Yeah.
Whenever there's an event.
So they will, he will put them up on Friday and collect them on Monday.
I think that's great.
Yeah, and that suggestion came from Mr. Palmer, and I think it was a great idea.
Yeah.
So, and we do have a certificate of insurance for the event. He provides it, it's an outside rental. So technically, he's still responsible because it's his property, but he got one from the company producing the event, naming the town of Rochester as well. So we have that in our possession as well, so. Hopefully, it's all a great success. I'll be working at Bethel all weekend, so I will not be able to attend. I was hoping to go to see it, but
You want to talk of traffic, my boy.
Two shows on Sunday.
no, one on, I'll be working
All right.
Sunday too, CZ Top.
So what's that?
Next, this is a continuing discussion of the manufactured housing park issue, a daily fine. So I did some research, and the only thing I found is that it is all over the map. There are some that are $100 flat. There are some that are per offense. There are some that are, I found as all the way from 100 to 500. I found some for first offense, 350, second offense, 500. So there was no rhyme or reason. Even some of the higher ones were older laws. Some of the lesser ones were newer laws. So it really is.
Mike, did you find that they were doing it as daily level levies or weekly?
Some did it daily, some did it by offense and by citation. And some specifically said by daily.
Okay.
Others said per offense. And I guess that would mean that we'd have to give them a citation every single day to make it be. But the only conclusion I came out of that there is no standard. So rather than print 20 different copies that were all over the map, I figured I'd come back to the board and have Mary Lou maybe give us some advice on what she thinks.
I'd recommend that you use the same fines that you have in the zoning law for other things.
Okay.
Such as?
Aaron, are you
I
near
can pull
enough?
up the
Or
zoning
if you
law.
can pull up the, yeah, or you can just look on the Eco 360.
Yeah, one by one.
Yeah.
It's a race.
Aaron's got to beat me.
I've got it
Her
bookmarked, but I
mother's
didn't
my
really want
age,
to change
so
my
I know
screen.
that she's younger.
Yeah, but my computer may be slow. You never know. Yeah, connection interrupted. So we're just looking for our similar fines.
Would it be under zoning?
Yep.
Yeah.
there's zoning.
Yeah. I 350 sticks in my head.
Yeah, 350 in my head. Okay. Offense punishable by a fine not exceeding 350 for conviction of second offense, 350 to 700, and third or subsequent 700 to 1,000. I
What's,
would suggest.
what's that section? We just referenced that section of code.
4062.
But is that per
I'm sorry.
offense?
It's-
That's for the offense, not the day.
Right,
Per offense, but
but in order to ever, only the fines are imposed. Well, I guess this is a weird one because we have,
the fine is actually imposed in this by the town board.
do you impose fines or can you just repeal their?
Go read 14024 F2. I believe it says we can repeal and
140, I'm sorry, what's that?
14024, section F2 is the section that is the standard for how we do it. So we have to set a hearing on it
Right,
and have the hearing, and then we can I believe we can impose. the
This is
fine.
a hearing for revocation of license.
Right.
But then read further down in, yeah. Says may impose fines.
Okay, so if the town board finds that they're in violation, it shall by resolution revoke such license, impose the levy of a daily fine. as set
It
by
does
the
say
town
daily
board.
fine.
It does. And the holder of the same shall thereupon terminate the operation. All enforcement provisions of this chapter shall apply in such case.
So that's why I used the word daily,
Mhm.
so. So if that's the case, should we set a specific fine for it? That was your advisement, that we set a specific fine before we call the hearing.
Right, yeah, you have to
Yeah.
have something in there.
Right.
I mean, and you could say the fine shall be in accordance with.
Except that's
Right,
only
if it's
first
already-
offense, second offense. So I'm leaning towards setting a specific fine for this because it's daily and it's the only one we do daily.
Yeah, I was about to ask, it says set by the town board schedule, so,
Well, this tonight's
That's what we'd
resolution
like to do,
would
is to
establish the
schedule.
schedule.
oh,
What that will be.
Yeah, it's our schedule of fees and fines, so we're adding this to it because we don't have it because we've never had an issue.
And you have to
before.
make it something that will make them comply, you
Right.
know.
But if
sometimes
it's
the judge is-
daily,
Right.
something like $100 a day,
Yeah.
that's significant.
that's a lot.
Um,
Yeah, that adds up. It is up to you folks.
And when would that start? Would that start from the official notice or from the hearing? That would start from the hearing date, I would assume. Because the notice was given and then we said,
Well, you have to find there's a violation, but you know.
Yeah,
here's the
so
thing,
that-
You're gonna revoke it.
Can I read the section that we're talking about? Because it makes it clear.
okay,
Okay.
please.
If the holder of such license shall refuse to correct the condition or conditions specified in such order within 15 days after the personal service of such order, town board shall hold a hearing to determine whether the holder is in violation of the provisions of this chapter. The holder will have the opportunity to be heard and defend its position at the hearing. If the town board determines the holder is in violation, it shall, by resolution, revoke such license and impose a levy of a daily fine as set by the town board schedule.
So
And
the
the-
daily, I'm by
Right, but
taking,
the question is, when does that daily,
well,
The date of the fine or
I'm
the
guessing
date
it
of
would
the hearing?
start with that resolution,
Well, it's saying that you revoke the license
right?
and then you set a daily fine. So every day,
so if he's continuing
Oh,
to
so-
operate.
But
So-
Mary Lou
so
was
the fine-
recommending that we set the fine ahead of time, so it's a standard
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Right, well, no, that's what
Yeah.
the town board schedule is.
Yeah,
It's,
But-
that's.
Right.
So you don't have to change the law every time you want to
right,
change the.
but
law.
the- but what Aaron is
So
saying, and I think I agree, that the fine would start at the revocation of.
And is
license.
the fine
Yes, and
technically
then-
for operating without a license at that point?
No, it's
No?
for refusing to
Okay.
meet the standards.
But if he shuts down.
Yeah.
If you revoke the license and he actually shuts down, then he doesn't really have any, of course, he's gonna. have to
Well,
tip
that's,
everyone.
that's still the question that I have about this, and I'm concerned about this. If we revoke the license, those people can't live there anymore, and then what happens to that?
Yeah,
Um, Well, we also, next step is we have to hold the hearing. He's been served the
Right.
notice. The 15 days have gone by. I will tell you well, I won't repeat the words that apparently were used, but he has told Mr. Davis he has intention of cutting down the trees or repairing the holes in the
so,
road.
so set a fine,
Right.
then let's hold the hearing and we'll,
Right.
I don't want to talk too much.
There's discretion of
in
how we
the public
close the
about
hearing.
How we
Yeah.
could proceed thereafter.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Certainly
Okay.
don't want to just.
So then, since it's a daily fine, how does the board feel about the amount of $100?
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah, I think that to me is high. So I think it sounds low, but it adds up. So I think that's
$3,000 a month.
Yeah,
It's-
that
it's-
sounds
yeah.
like something that would,
And the whole permit fee to get it, the permit is significantly cheaper. I
Yeah.
don't remember what it is, but the
Oh, yeah.
annual permit is like $250. So,
Right.
So the,
The idea is to pose something that's punitive enough to have
Yeah,
them
that's the-
do the repairs.
right.
To say it's cheaper to fix the road and cut down the tree than it is to. pay
Well, and the
fine.
other thing is, if after the hearing, he says, okay, give me a week, I'll get it fixed. I think the
These are
board,
the things that we don't want to discuss
Okay.
on.
Just public hearing.
okay,
If you'd like to discuss that with your attorney
Okay.
later.
so we're gonna fill in the number 100. So,
Are you
so
okay
this
with
is the resolution. Town board establishes a daily level of fine for violation of manufactured housing park permit operational standards pertaining to health, safety and town code as determined by the code enforcement officer. Such daily levy of the fine shall be $100 effective September 23rd, 2021. Do I have that motion?
that? Just to clarify, we're setting the schedule effective September 23rd.
Yeah,
So- yeah.
a general.
Such
general-
daily levy fine,
Fine.
because we don't have a daily fine.
Gotcha,
so
okay.
the
If this ever
fine
happens again,
becomes
this is what it
effective.
is.
You have to give an active date of when it
Okay.
becomes effective.
Gotcha, not
The
the,
fine
Not for
becomes
the
effective
specific
tomorrow.
choice.
okay, good.
Yeah.
Yep,
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
I,
Opposed, abstain. Next, do we want to schedule a hearing? I didn't put it on here because I wanted to get feedback from Mary Lou. But now that we've done this, we probably should schedule a hearing. I don't know if we do it at a meeting, a regular meeting. I'd rather do it at a. Do you want to look at your calendar and set the meeting, set
And why
the
don't
hearing
you-
next week?
I'll worry about
Yeah,
that,
because
you're
Jerry
definitely
has
gonna
to
need
appear
as
Jerry
well.
witness.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure it's a day that. he
so
can
we're
attend.
gonna,
Okay, so check your calendars for the next several weeks. How much notice should we give them of the hearing? Just to be fair, a week's notice, 2 weeks
I think
notice,
you have to give them, I'd say.
10 days?
At least 2 weeks.
Okay. So look for 2 weeks from the 27th, essentially. So from that Monday,
The
look,
week of the 11th.
the week of the 11th,
Columbus Day
yeah,
week.
and bear in mind that we're gonna have at least one meeting every, we're gonna have at least one meeting a week for budget. So
we could potentially hold the
Is it in your
hearing
calendar as
before.
well? Yeah.
we could potentially hold the hearing prior to a budget workshop meeting or,
Thursday, the
I think
14th.
I'm away the 12th and 13th,
okay.
so 14th is better for me.
Yeah, and the 11th is a holiday, it's
14th.
Columbus Day, so, but
And
anyway.
the 14th,
come prepared
Yeah,
next
whatever.
meeting to talk about some specific dates, and then we'll set a date, and I'll check with Jerry. I just want to remind that we will have a fair amount of meetings in October.
I'm in.
Okay. Next, we received the resignation for our planning board chair. So I'd ask that the town board enter into executive session for discussions of particular persons related to the appointment of a chair at the planning board at 7:15. No, 7, well, this computer's fast. 7:12 PM. I have that motion.
I'll make that motion.
I have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Okay, I'm gonna stop